It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go. Wednesday show, October 4th, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com if you're watching live. Of course, if you are watching on YouTube, we'd ask you to subscribe to the show and, of course, hit that like button for us. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Ryan Ermanni, I apologize that I am taking so long to clean my desk up and get my area straight. I apologize to you as well, Parker, but you see that hat right there?
Uh-oh.
You see that hat? It lets me know it's a Wednesday. So excited about cap or no cap. And also, Ryan, Tom Mazaway, young Parker and JB, I got some great news. Okay, great news today. This is for all the young people out there and the young people at heart. Did you hear that Toys R Us is coming back?
Oh, I did not
Toys
hear
R
about
Us is
that.
coming back.
did hear that.
24 stores around the country.
All right.
2 of them. Metropolitan Michigan. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Get
I'm
outta
excited
here.
today, baby.
Hey, you know what I got in the mail
kids.
yesterday? I got
It's
the
time to show
Amazon
up.
catalog in the mail for Christmas yesterday.
Look at that.
You know how you get the Toys R Us book for Christmas? Now you get the Amazon toy book for Christmas, and I'm all over that thing. I cannot wait. If Toys R Us opens, I will be there for the grand opening.
Wow, look at that.
Toys R Us.
I cannot
back in
wait for that. I got to figure that out.
You know what I can't wait to be? A kid.
Oh, man.
There you go.
I don't want to grow
Jeffrey
up.
will be back.
I'm a
'Cause
Toys
if
R
I
Us
did.
kid.
I
will
guys,
be a
My
Toys
kids
R
used to
Us.
get the call from Jeffrey every
Oh, the
birthday.
giraffe.
wow.
Every birthday.
They had a
Look
giraffe.
at that.
It's not like It's not like being a kid walking in Toys R Us because it's so much optimism on your life about to change with whatever toy or video game system that you purchase or your parents purchased at the time.
Amen
Love
to
walking
that.
in Toys R Us.
Amen to that. Hey, guys, so here at the top of the show today, I want to discuss for you this national emergency.
Yeah, tell us what that is, Ryan.
What we're going to have happen today at 2:20. If you're watching live.
Isn't that a
it-
restaurant here
it-
in Birmingham?
Yeah,
It is.
220 Merrill, I believe that
It
is.
is.
There you go.
At 2:20 p.m. today, there's going to be a nationwide emergency alert test. And to be honest with you, I'm not really sure how long it's going to be. I cannot decipher if this is going to be for 1 minute or if this is going to be for 30 minutes.
It's got to be a minute.
I think it's got to be a minute, but
But you're talking there's 338 million people in the United States of America. How many of those people got phones? All those people connected at one time? Listen, I don't want to be that guy, but I can't see them getting it right in one chance.
so
Is this
according-
Y2K?
So obviously our
That was
show is
fake.
going to be our show is going to be disrupted
Yeah.
for some period of time, and this is what I'm reading. When the test is occurring on October 4th at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the process involves 2 parts. A 30-minute signal sent to radios and televisions as part of the emergency alert system, and a similar one to all consumer cell phones as part of the WEA system, which I'm not even sure what the WEA system is. But
weather emergency systems?
yeah, maybe that is.
Weather
Maybe
emergency
that is
Maybe
it.
it's another wrestling company.
Wireless emergency
wireless, okay.
alerts.
Close
That's
enough.
what that is. So
I appreciate that.
Even if your cell phone is on silent, you will get a buzz today or
A siren.
A siren. So I'm not really sure what is going to happen with our show today, but we're going to continue the show up until 2:20, until the phones go off, until maybe the computers go down, the televisions, whatever the case may be. So we just wanted to alert you as soon as that is over, we'll be back. Whether it's 1 minute or 30 minutes, we hope.
In the words of Eminem, Detroit legend, until we collapse. Until we collapse.
Top of hour number 2 today. We hope we're back by the top of hour number 2. Jennifer Hammond from Fox 2, longtime reporter for Fox 2, and of course, longtime Lions reporter as well. She's covered this team for almost 3 decades, and we'll get her take on all things Detroit Lions. And we will start with the Lions, guys. A 9-point favorite against the Carolina Panthers.
Jumps up.
On Sunday. It has continued to rise. The Lions 3-8 all time against the Panthers. They're coming off a drubbing last year. It was 31-7 at one point in Carolina before the Lions made it a little bit closer. It was a 37-23 final in Carolina. But the Lions just won field. Brady, you asked me last week and we talked about it. When do you just want to see him just dominate a game like 41-3? This feels like a 41-3 game.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a 41-3 game. And they told you what the line is. The Lions move up to 9. I mean, when's the last time the Lions have been favored to win 9? When is the last time, Tom Mazaway, the Detroit Lions have been favored by 9 points?
That's a tough one.
Exactly.
It might have been last year against the Bears, maybe.
No, 2017.
2017.
Yeah,
There you go.
So there it is.
Thanks, JB.
JB, appreciate you with the fact 6 years ago. So you got to blow this team out. You know, I'm always talking about when you become that dominant team, you got to be that dominant team. You don't want to not dominate. You don't want to let a team like the Panthers hang around, hang with you the whole game, and then you win by 10, but it's all at the end because guys look at each other like, what the hell was that? You don't want doubt to seep in. And I'm not saying these guys would ever doubt themselves, but you just don't want it to seep in. And also, you don't want other teams to look at you and find chinks in your armor. Right now, if I'm an NFL team and I'm looking at the Detroit Lions, I'm like, damn, I don't want to play that defense. Damn, Jared Goff takes care of the football the majority of the time. Damn, did you see how hard David Montgomery was running? Did you see that offensive line? So right now, teams are like, if you're a team that's as good as them, like the San Francisco 49ers, you're like, damn, they're a tough team. If you're not on that level, you're like, they're going to beat us. You don't want to start showing some chinks in your arm, and now the Bucks come in next week because you got to go there, and they look at you different like, look at the first 3 teams they beat. I'm not buying it. We got a chance. So you don't want teams to get confidence going against you. That's why you got to keep the foot on the gas.
Hey, they rushed for 60 yards last week. Chuba Hubbard had 48.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders had 12. I mean, they don't scare me. We ain't scared.
We ain't scared.
We ain't scared.
Who was that? You sound
Ain't
like
scared.
Paulie in Rocky 3.
We ain't scared.
Remember they got to the-
I don't sweat you.
Exactly. In the parking structure in the beginning. I don't sweat you. He said, what you need? Can I have a job?
Tony says 41 to 3. Ryan, I like you a lot, but let's get real. Yes, obviously 41 to 3 is an exaggeration.
But is it?
But like a good 3 touchdown game where you put everything together. Which look, they got that against. It wasn't a 3 touchdown game, but they got that against the Packers. I mean, that was a complete domination that the Lions had over Green Bay.
On the road.
Listen, and Tony, I absolutely agree with you in the sense that it's the NFL game. You never think a game is going to be 41-3, at least not going into it. After the game starts, you figure it out. But we know this team isn't good. Hell, if you look at the Green Bay game, if the referees would have stopped the clock, and I know it's an if thing, that Green Bay game could have been 41-3. And Green Bay is a much better team than the struggling Carolina Panthers who are defeated right now. The opposite of undefeated. They're defeated right now. Bryce Young still trying to figure out the offensive line, running game. Nothing's working. No weapons. Defense giving up. Why shouldn't they beat them 41-3?
Don't let this kid get his first win against you.
Not, and it's not going to happen at all.
No doubt.
Put my foot down.
Guys, you saw the stat yesterday, too. It came out, and you looked at it. We talk about Aiden Hutchinson all the time. But the numbers that he is, piling on is pretty impressive when you look at some of the guys. 27 pressures. 27 quarterback pressures, leads the NFL, is tied with Micah Parsons and Max Crosby. Then you see some of the names on this list. Like I said, Micah Parsons, Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, Aaron Donald, Khalil Mack, Jalen Carter, George Karlaftis, and Nick Bosa. That's a pretty good group to be involved in.
It's a damn good group. George Karlaftis and Aiden, same class in terms of defensive ends from Big Ten. Interesting enough.
Yes, sir.
But this is what we talked. Well, this is what I talked about in the sense of wanting there to be some stats to go along with the pressures. Remember, after 2 weeks, he was leading the NFL in pressures, but he didn't have any sacks. The Lions didn't have any sacks as a whole. And I told you, I said, Ryan, I appreciate getting to the quarterback almost. I appreciate the pressures because they will lead to other things, and I'm not knocking that stat. But I want something to go along with it because once I see some sacks to go along with it, I promise you, I believe it's going to look better. Look at what's happening since he's got the sacks to go along with the pressures. Now other people are getting open. Other people are eating because of Aiden and vice versa. So he's got what, 4.5 sacks or 5.5 sacks? 6, was it? 5.5 to go with his 27 pressures. And right now, the Detroit Lions defense, and yes, it is true, they're the number 4 defense in the NFL
And that's
right now.
without James Houston.
That's without James Houston. And we still, there's a guy that hasn't played, and we're waiting to get him back in a month and a half or 2 months or however long. CJ hasn't played.
Yeah.
He hasn't played. So what they're doing is great, and Aiden Hutchinson deserves all the credit that right now he's currently getting, cuz he's in there with the elite.
Yeah, 3.5 sacks this year. Look, 12 tackles, 7 quarterback hits, 3.5 sacks, 3 passes defense, 2 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery. This guy is doing a little bit of everything for this defense. He is becoming, if he's not already, you look at the names on this list, a superstar. There isn't one guy on this list that's not a superstar.
And you look at the guys on this list, there's some guys on this list that have already made defensive MVP in this league. Micah Parsons has finished runner-up twice. Myles Garrett's been third twice. T.J. Watt has a win. Aaron Donald has a bunch of wins. Khalil Mack has a win. You know what all those guys did when they were winning, when they were operating this level? All their teams benefited, and they all were winning ball clubs at that time.
Except poor Myles Garrett.
Yeah, but he got to the playoffs though.
He did.
The year he had his most sacks is the year Baker Mayfield won a playoff game.
Hey,
Getting
Baker.
to the quarterback, shout out to Baker again. Getting to the quarterback and winning games, it goes hand to hand. The offensive line, the defensive line.
Is Aiden Hutchinson a future defensive player of the year?
So
I think so.
Yeah, he's on his way.
Why wouldn't he be?
you guys are still in my thunder, man, for cap and no cap. You're still in my thunder, but I'll answer that. The answer is yes. The answer is yes, because right now you look at Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn is utilizing him the right way, and they're putting the right people around him. When you become Defensive Player of the Year, it's not you by yourself. Lawrence Taylor was an amazing guy. Maz, run me through the laundry list of that defensive line. That linebacker
Carl the
core.
Killer Banks.
Pepper Johnson.
Pepper
Harry
Johnson.
Carson.
You got it, man.
So you got to have guys with you, and that's the difference between last year and this year. Guys across the board are playing well in the defensive line. Yeah.
No doubt about it. Obviously, guys, one of the big stories, if not the biggest story that this game will have, is that of Jameson Williams. He is back. He looks like he will play this week. I mean, I don't know if there was any question about that really, but it kind of sounded, if you listen to Dan Campbell on Monday's presser, because he really wasn't sure what he was going to get. He hadn't laid eyes on Jameson Williams as far as, you know, what kind of
shape he
was in.
Yeah.
If he's watching, if he's doing the playbook, the whole 9 yards.
He wasn't sure what he was doing, but it sounds like Jameson Williams was doing a lot of work over the last month of the season, Bray.
And that's why when you saw the press conference, Dan Campbell, he spoke when the first news broke out about Jameson Williams. I think it was last Friday. He spoke out. He just seemed like, hey, I mean, we just want to get him in. You know, we just want him to know and stuff. Like, he seemed real relaxed. And then you started talking about it yesterday. He really doesn't know, and Monday and Tuesday, he really doesn't know what Jameson Williams is yet. And I told you, he's been injured. He's been away. He's been suspended. He comes back. He gets injured again. So Dan Campbell, he sounded frustrated on Monday because he was frustrated. He was happy to get Jameson Williams back. But he doesn't know, on Monday he didn't know where Jameson Williams was at. And based on what Jameson Williams has showed him thus far in his career, Dan Campbell's probably like, I hope. When you got to say I hope, that means you don't know. He saw Jameson Williams, and Jameson Williams has shown him, I mean what I say. I was happy to come here. I'm happy to turn the corner. I'm happy to show these guys why I moved up to number 12. And he took it serious. So shout out to Jameson Williams, and I hope we see a lot of Jameson Williams this Sunday.
I think we will see a lot of them. I'm going to play this video for you, just talking about his preparation and return to the lineup here. This is from Colton Pouncey of The Athletic in the scrum with Jameson Williams yesterday.
Feel good. Today was one of the better days in the last month I didn't have, just getting out there and getting on the field. We had a good day yesterday, so today I put pads on. I feel good today out there with the guys.
Can you run us through when you learned the suspension was lifted, and just, I guess, the emotions you felt in that moment?
I feel good. It was last week after the game, so we just got a dub. 3-1. Now I heard this news, I can get back and play, get out there and get some reps in, just get some good time in with the team. We're doing good right now. Just trying to keep that going on.
How do you see yourself fitting in with the team, though? What do you think you can add to sitting and watching and seeing how it goes?
It's just a process, Whatever Ben got going on for me, we're gonna get in, we're gonna execute, we're gonna make it a good time. We just looking forward to keep winning, We're 3-1 right now. Hopefully we could just keep the season going with just one L, make it to the playoffs, go far.
What did you work on or could you work on when you were home and working out by yourself?
I did a lot of catching. I was on a judge machine. I had a judge machine at the house. I did a lot of catching. So that was one of the things I was working on.
When did you get that jugs machine?
I've been had it.
You had it? How many catches did you do? I mean,
I
not that
was doing like 100 a day, but shit, it was every day. So you do the math on that.
Jamo, do you think it's gonna take you just a minute, a little bit of time to kind of get in sync with Jared and the offense? It's gonna take
no, I don't think so. We had time in camp. We just had some time today. We just after practice we get stuff whatever we think is good we need. So I don't think it'll take a lot of time. I think it'll be good work and we get going.
There's going to be a lot of expectations on you, especially this first game. I mean, do you welcome that, or is that something you got to handle?
I ain't really tripping off that. Like I stated a couple times. I just trying to win. You know, we 3-1 right now. Just trying to keep that going.
Love it. Love it, love it. And I just want to, again, that was Colton Pouncey's video from The Athletic. Bray, you see that video? What do you make of it?
The first thing I saw in the video, and I want to give Parker credit. Parker, actually, you can say it. What was the first thing we noticed in the video, you and I?
A Detroit Pistons shirt.
So that was the first thing I saw. So shout out to him for repping the culture. Kind of like the same thing Beef Stew said. They are watching the Detroit Lions. They are leading the professional franchises in Detroit to the right path. Now, going back to Jameson, he's just excited to be there. Like, that's that energy. I've never been suspended, but I've been hurt and been away from the team. And when you're away from the team and you're working out on your own and you're doing your own thing, you got guys texting you. They may be popping up. But you can't have lunch with them at the facility. You can't go to meetings with him at the facility. You can't be on the practice field. You can't share in the jokes. He's watching his team go 3-1 in the camaraderie on the field, and he doesn't feel like a part of it because he wasn't a part of it. So now you see him. He's at his locker. He's there with the team. He's practiced with the team. You see the smile. The smile is coming back. When he caught his first touchdown, we saw that smile as well. So I'm happy to see him. And it just seems like we talked a lot about yesterday. I said Zach Wilson. He looks like he grew up, right? Looks like from last year where he was to now, he's a player that's grown up. Jameson, from the last time we saw when they first announced what was going to happen with the game suspension in January, from there till now, he seems like a different player that just wants to get on the field. He's accustomed to winning. He went to Alabama. He wants to feel that. That's another thing he said. He said, man, I just hope we keep the momentum going with the 1L and ride it all the way into the playoffs. So he just wants to win.
Again, at 2:20 today, we're expecting to get that national alert system. So if you're just joining us, today at 2:20, there is going to be a what do they call
interruption.
it here?
Emergency.
A nationwide emergency alert test planned. And again, I'm not sure if this is for 1 minute or 30 minutes, but we are probably going to get disrupted. And there it is on our phone.
We're going to go to break.
We'll go to break and see what's going on. Or
are we still going?
We're still going.
We're 2 minutes early.
Yeah, if we're still on, I'm good. If we're still on, we'll just keep going here.
Yeah. So scratch what Ryan just said.
4 minutes over.
And I will say it is. Jameson Williams has never looked happier and more relaxed to me. I will say that.
Yeah, and I think for Williams too. Look, he knows what the deal is. He's got enough people now. All the talk is over. Like, there's no restrictions anymore.
Yeah.
He's not hurt. He's going to be on the field. Just go play. Just go play now and show everybody what you can do. Everybody's been talking about what you can do. Now go show what you can do. So let's take a break right now. That's right. Absolutely. Let's take a break right now as we approach 2:20 and just see how it goes. But first, a message from Mark White.
Let's do it.
When buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. Sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason without any penalty at all? That is exactly what Mark White and Associates is offering. It's called their minute-by-minute listing agreement by Mark White and Associates. Try Mark White's risk-free minute-to-minute listing agreement today. Looking to buy or sell real estate? Visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. That number again, 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney. Chief Academic Officer, Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, learning street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer with 18 locations. There's a Feldman dealership in your backyard, probably right near you. Visit feldmanauto.com or feldman/auto.com to find a location nearest you. Since 1996, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. Catch Woodward Sports Network live from Feldman Chevrolet in Novi every other Monday. Oh, by the way, it's also Dispo this Friday. You know what it is. You know it's the local plug. You know it's my spot. 21 and up, you got to be this Friday. Me and the man, Maz.
Hey, there's a rumor we're going to be indoors.
We're going to be indoors?
There's a rumor.
Next to the DJ booth?
I guess so.
It's going to be a party in that thing. Come on down. Check it out. It's Michigan's largest cannabis mall. Definitely not that other word. And also, 21 up, recreational only. It's the best place to consume your cannabis. Come out, Dispo.
I want to thank the United States government for the false alarm on the phone situation. The national
aren't they great?
Everything is okay.
Yes, just fine. Just to continue on with this Jameson Williams conversation, guys. Absolutely. The Jameson Williams conversation is a fascinating one to me. Look, he said everything he should have said. He said everything that you wanted him to say in that press conference or in the little scrum yesterday in the locker room. It sounds like he's been doing all the things that you wanted him to do over the last month of the season since his suspension, but now it's just time to go play. And I'm almost exhausted by the Jameson Williams conversation because look, this team is not a one-person team. It's like a collective. It's a collective group, and I always continue to kind of relate them to the 04 Pistons, who, yes, there were some Hall of Famers, people that turned into Hall of Famers on the 04 Pistons. Chauncey Billups, maybe one day, if he's not already. Ben Wallace, of course. But they're a team. They play as one. So he just needs to be a piece of that. He doesn't need to come in and be the man. So it's not like anybody's asking him to be like Jerry Rice or anything like that.
Here's why I give you a slight pushback on that, Ryan. Now, in terms of game one, no, I'm not expecting him to come in and be a world beater game one. But this is what we have to be, Ryan Ermanni. We have to start holding people accountable. Jameson Williams is in year 2. The Lions moved up 20 picks to get Jameson Williams. And the reason why they moved up 20 picks is because he had 1,500 yards his last year at Alabama. He averaged 19.9 yards a catch, 20 yards a catch at Alabama, and he had 15 touchdowns at Alabama, and we saw what he was in the national championship game. Look, there are a lot of teams that play as a collective. San Fran plays as a collective. The Eagles play as a collective. Kansas City Chiefs play as a collective. But at the same time, all these teams that are big, the Dallas Cowboys, to a certain extent, play as a collective on defense. But they all got guys. Every one of those teams got that guy that you know what, when I'm looking in a pinch, I got a guy that can be one-on-one coverage and get me 70. I got a guy that can get to the end zone. I got a guy on defense. And I think the defense is playing as a collective, Ryan, but who's that dog? It's your left tackle. It's your rush in, your left end, Aiden Hutchinson. So what I need him to do, once they implement him into the system, and I don't want him to try to do too much at once, but remember who you are. You are Jameson Williams. You are a dog. We brought you here for a reason. Brad Holmes brought you for a reason. So let it go. Let it fly. You are no longer hampered by the ACL. You're no longer hampered by the hamstring. You're no longer hampered by not being around the team. You're part of the squad now. And this squad is operating at a high level. So when you do get your number called, make the plays. That's where you draft somebody 12 overall. Now it's time for Jameson to take off and show what he could do, because he was a 12 overall pick. It's not like it's a guy in the 4th round that we've been waiting for, and now he's healthy, and it's like, hey, when he gets in there, no, bro, you got drafted 12th overall. You were drafted to make a difference, to be elite. So eventually, I want to see that, but make the plays that come your way.
Do you know this might have been a blessing in disguise from the get-go? Comes in with the ACL, drafted an injured player, takes his time, gets finally back against the Vikings, gets away for that touchdown. And then, of course, you know what happens in the offseason. Gets busted for gambling in a hotel room on the road. Loses 6 games, knocked down to 4. But do you think, then he gets tweaked the hamstring.
Right.
All that put together, do you think it might have, Lions won 8 out of 10 and 3 out of 4 so far this year. They're no worse for wear. Yeah, they didn't make the playoffs last year, but they're no worse for wear. And this guy potentially could be the healthiest he's been since he was in college with Alabama. It might have just all worked out perfectly instead of rushing back and worrying about your knee. Now you know your knee is solid. And, hey, man, no worse for wear. Let the toy out of the box and have some fun.
Well, it's like we say all the time, whether it's Justin Fields or Trey Lance or insert quarterback here. We do it a lot with quarterbacks. We don't do it a lot with anybody else, like defensive players or anything. But it's not what number you go to. It's where you go, what system you go to. And for Jameson Williams, there probably couldn't have been a better situation for him to go than the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
A team that was growing, a team that wasn't expected to do much last year, so they didn't really have to rush him at all. And now he's in a situation with a veteran quarterback, with a strong offensive line, with a guy in Amon-Ra St. Brown that is the number 1 wide receiver on this team. Whether he stays the number 1 wide receiver on this team, I think that'll play itself out. But as of right now, Amon-Ra St. Brown's a top 10, top 12 receiver in this league. It's pretty darn good. So he doesn't have to come in and do too much. He didn't have to come in and be, like I said, Jerry Rice.
You always got to look at the glass half full, and Matt, you bring up a great point. Like, did we want to draft him off of ACL injury? No. Do you want him to have to go through a year-long rehab process? No. Do you want him to have to sit out because he made a bet at the Mosey-Wozy somewhere where they still have Wi-Fi?
Oh, he bet at the Mosley-Wozy?
He was at the Mosey-Wozy.
Oh, my God.
He was at the Mosey-Wozy. Nah, but, yeah, you don't want that stuff to happen. But it did. And it allowed him fully rehab his ACL. It allowed him to kind of look himself in the mirror throughout the process. And it also allowed the players on the line to become good. It allowed Sam Laporta to get in there first 4 games of the season, find some chemistry with Jared Goff. It allowed Amon-Ra St. Brown another year in which he played like a Pro Bowl wide receiver. So he's coming to, and Jared Goff allowed him another year to get his confidence and become the Jared Goff that we're seeing. So what I love about this is he's looking around. They're winning already. They're 3-1. He's not coming here like, oh, they're 1-3. So now I got to show up. Now I got to turn every play into an 80-yard touchdown. No, you just got to show up and make plays when they give you the ball because they're already winning. And guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, they're not kids anymore. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a veteran in this league. This is year 3 for him. So I think he'll be really good for Jameson going forward.
It's like house money, man. You
No doubt.
don't really need him this week against Carolina. We don't think.
Well, you may because...
But it would be nice.
You may because...
St. Brown might be dinged.
He might not play this week. Dan Campbell said earlier this morning on his weekly radio station with the Lions flagship that he was non-committal whether Brian Branch or Amon-Ra will play this week. Although Amon-Ra was a running at full speed off to the side, although he did not practice.
Sit Branch.
100% sit Branch. I agree with you on that. Sit Branch is no need for him. And also with the Jameson, going back to that, there's a team you guys are going to be playing 3 weeks, and I'm not looking ahead, but as a coach, you should look ahead as it relates to your schedule health-wise. It's the Baltimore Ravens. It's in Baltimore. They are also 3-1. They also lead their division. You want to get Jameson right for that game. These 2 games right here, Ryan and Ermanni, they're to get him in the huddle right, get him in shape right, to understand the play call right, and to get his confidence there. Because even though he's that guy, still hasn't made a play in the NFL in a very, very long time, and until you make that play, you can't get going. So Dan Campbell, i.e., Ben Johnson's job is to get Jameis into a great confidence space so that when you play the Ravens in 3 weeks, he's not out there looking like, week one or rookie wide receiver. He's looking like a guy that's been in the system for a couple weeks and getting that. That's his job in these first 2 weeks.
And it's even beneficial with Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams being in that lineup where you have other options. So let's say the deep ball doesn't work in one game. You have a guy that, like in Amon-Ra St. Brown, where you can rely on and have that security blanket. I mean, Samuel Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jamison Williams is a heck of a core to have in the passing game.
No doubt about it. Guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Braylon is going to break down the usage of Jahmyr Gibbs.
True.
We'll get Braylon's take on that. But first, a message from Planet Fitness.
Yes, Planet Fitness is your home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and I do mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym with tons of equipment, a full-body workout in just 30 minutes in a 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. And yes, everyone, they are still just $10 a month. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness, or as always, check them out online at planetfitness.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports. Woodward and Main Street. The Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Hey guys, when it comes to your pet, don't settle. Give your pet the best. Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. It's family owned and operated for over 30 years. They have 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food, the lowest prices, and curbside home delivery. Premier Pet Supply, give your pet the best. Check them out online at premierpetsupply.com.
And we're happy to have them on board here at Woodward Sports. Also happy to have these guys, Booner and Broder, Woodward Nights, 8 to 10 weeknights here on WSN's YouTube channel. Some of the bright up-and-comers that we are excited to have here at the network. Woodward Sports on YouTube, Booner and Broder at 8 o'clock. Braylon Edwards, I will defer to you here talking about Jahmyr Gibbs.
All right. So here we go. Everybody's asking a question about Jahmyr Gibbs' usage. Why is he being used like this? He was drafted 12th overall. They moved up to get him. I was asking these questions, and a lot of other people were too. So before I want to keep bringing that question up or keep badgering that question, I want to take a look at how the first-round running backs have done in their first 4 games in the last 15 years. So what I did was I took the last 15 running backs drafted in the first round. Okay, I looked at their first 4 games. I added all their touchdowns up, added all their yards up, added all their usage up.
That's a lot of work.
It was. It took me 2.5 hours, so I'm proud of this.
Look at this.
And I don't even know if it's that good, but so these are just a couple of the names. This is Jahmyr Gibbs, and notice Parker put this together. JB or Parker put this together. I think it's JB. It says relax. It says relax. RELAX. Much in the words of Aaron Rodgers. And here's why. Of all those guys added up, including Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan, 251 yards in the first 4 games was the average. 251 yards. The average was 1 touchdown in those.
Oh, wow.
Average is 1 touchdown, 251 yards receiving.
For the 4 games?
For the 4-game period.
Sweet.
The average win-loss was 2.
Okay.
There was, Zeke had 3-1. Todd Gurley was 3-1. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire was 4-0, but we know what team he played for.
Correct.
Now, if you take off
He was a first-round pick.
Yeah,
Wow.
LSU, I think.
When you win the championship,
Yeah.
everybody wins when you win.
Yeah.
So, you look at, if you take Todd Gurley off, who's just ridiculous through his 4 games, 146, 159, 128, 89, and then you take off Zeke, who was 58, 83, 140, and 138. I mean, he's running behind the best offensive line in football for 6 years. If you take that off, the average goes down to 219 over 4 games, and it goes down to a touchdown. It still stays at a touchdown. Currently, Jahmyr Gibbs is 170, 70 yards, and then 70 yards receiving. It's not too far from.
So 240 combined.
So, no, he's 240 combined. 240 combined on the usage. Not too far behind. The pace behind that is 219. It's 251 if you do include Zeke and Todd. But everybody's like, why is he doing so much? Why is he doing so much? Like, where is it at? With the exception of Leonard Fournette, who had a big first 4, Todd Gurley and Zeke, he's right there with everybody else. But here's where it gets interesting. All those guys that get all those extra usage, all the guys that are ahead of him, all the guys that were bought in to change the franchises, that were bought in to become the bell cows, CMC, what did he do after year 1? Injured. What happened to Zeke? Injured year 3. What happened to Todd Gurley? Injured year 3. What happened to Saquon Barkley? He was injured year 2. What happened to Doug Martin? What happened to Melvin Gordon? What happened to Leonard Fournette? What happened to Travis Etienne? What happened to Rashad Penny? Rashad Penny, he had 80 yards in that first 4-game stretch. Basically, outside of 3 people, Jahmyr Gibbs with that 170 will place 7th in running backs in the first, and drafted in the first round. But the thing is, the wins. They're 3-1 as a Detroit Lion. Don't question what Dan Campbell is doing, because they're easing him into it. David Montgomery, 68 carries, 262 yards. He's taking the blunt of the force. You know what they're trying to do, in my estimation? They're using him in the right spots, not trying to wear him out, not trying to have him in year 4, year 5. We're looking at each other like, I don't know. It's like DeAndre Swift. He was injured for this many games. He was injured for that many games. They are winning. They are winning with the way they're using him, and they haven't even really been able to put it together yet. Amon-Ra St. Brown's banged up. Jamison Williams just coming back. David Montgomery missed the game. Made him have to do something else. Oh, by the way, if Taylor Decker is the left tackle when you're playing the Falcons, wouldn't have been 86 yards that Jahmyr Gibbs would have had. It would have been a lot more, and you saw that with David Montgomery against the Green Bay Packers. So everybody's got to relax. Like, you look at these first 4-game stretches, average. Like, he's not too far from where all these running backs were. And the guys that were getting the most usage, Zeke, Todd Gurley, Saquon Barkley, those guys injured. Year 3, you're like, damn, should we keep him? Zeke got paid, and what will happen the next year? Damn, we shouldn't have paid him. Yeah. So what you got to do, 1, you're not the GM. 2, you're not the coach. Let Brad Holmes and let Ben Johnson, more important, just let him get acclimated to the system. Let their process work. Everybody wants to be an at-home coach. Let the process work, because I promise you, it's going to work.
You did a great job there.
Great job.
It's going to work. I love it, because I think these guys really look ahead. What did I just say a couple of minutes ago about Jamison Williams? We really didn't need him on all those games. You went 8-2 down the stretch, 3-1 right now. Now he comes in fresh, rejuvenated, and ready to play his real rookie season. Same thing for Jahmyr Gibbs. We didn't really need him. What were we going to do? Be 4-0? We gave that game to Seattle. That was a giveaway. They should be 4-0. So in reality, they've used him perfectly. Just not for us fantasy guys. That's all.
100%. At the end of the day, it's we want to see more Jahmyr Gibbs.
We drafted him first round fantasy, second round.
Exactly. We want to see more. We want to see what it's about. We saw the highlight tape. We want to see it. The Detroit Lions have a plan. I mean, look at Christian McCaffrey, 102 yards after 4 games. CMC is considered the best running back in the league right now. But what happened along the way? He was banged up. He was beat up. I really think the Detroit Lions are trying to spare Jahmyr Gibbs, not in the sense that he can't take it, but why add extra hits when we don't need to? We have a plan for Jahmyr Gibbs. Maybe the Lions' plan is to keep him long term. Maybe their plan is to utilize him like Darren Sproles was used. Darren Sproles was in the passing game. He was in the running game and was great for a very, very, very long time. I mean, you look at some of these comparable numbers, he's not far behind these guys, and they didn't even use him like that, and Taylor Decker didn't play. So when I look at what they have and that last thing too, they're on losing teams. Look at Saquon Barkley's team his rookie year. Trash. Josh Jacobs' team, trash. Doug Martin, trash. Melvin Gordon, they were decent. Leonard Fournette, they started off good. Trash at the end. Najee Harris, trash. Travis Etienne, obviously they made the playoffs last year, and he did. What did he do? He got injured as well. So I look at where he's at, 170, 240 total. Hasn't had a touchdown yet, but they're getting him in right. He's on a winning team. He's on a winning team. All these running backs that were drafted, Ryan, they were drafted, and then the team said, hey, here, let me sit this on your back and let's roll, with the exception of a couple guys. He doesn't have to have that to happen, which means he extends his playing career, and which when they learn how to use him, when they find out how to use him like Alabama, when they find out how to use him a little bit like CMC is used with the San Francisco 49ers, oh boy, watch out.
Yeah.
Oh boy, watch out. So what I say to myself, because I'm the reason I looked it up, and others, relax. Ben Johnson is in a good situation as it relates to Jahmyr Gibbs. They play the Panthers this week. This is another week to find out who Jahmyr Gibbs for Ben Johnson. Then they play the Buccaneers. It's another week to find out what's going on. Then it's the Ravens, and you know he's going to have something up his sleeve. So I tell everybody relax. Started with myself.
You know, when you take a running back in the first round, it's very rare that becomes a bit of a luxury pick, would you say?
Yeah.
When you take a running back in the first round, it's very rare that player is your number 2 back.
Agreed.
Think about Saquon Barkley. He ain't sharing with nobody. Think about Ezekiel Elliott.
Not sharing.
He wasn't sharing with anybody. Think about Christian McCaffrey.
He ain't sharing.
I don't remember what the Jonathan Stewart dynamic was, but
they used Jonathan Stewart more. Jonathan Stewart started at first.
So
yeah.
maybe Christian McCaffrey then.
It's a great
but
comparison.
Josh Jacobs, no. I mean, so all of these running backs that are on this list here that are taken in the first round, those guys were taken to be the guy. Jahmyr Gibbs was taken to be an element of an offense, a piece of an offense, which really can be used in many different ways. So while he is a running back, you do have this kind of Deebo Samuel type usage to him. Remember when Deebo Samuel
Super Bowl?
He didn't have like the greatest.
He burst onto the scene basically when they moved him around and made him.
He was playing
things.
wide receiver. He was playing running back, and he didn't have great numbers at either position because he wasn't playing one position. He was moving all over the place. So you had to extrapolate those numbers, and ultimately it worked out for him in his contract. But that was a fight for him in his contract because he didn't have these incredible numbers at any one position because of how they used him.
Yeah, and everybody has to realize, you got to relax. Like, just because you want to see somebody use a certain way doesn't mean that's how the Detroit Lions, why they drafted him, to use him that way. Look at Christian McCaffrey. Rookie year, Ryan, he had 435 yards rushing. 435 rushing. Jonathan Stewart started, kept him out of there. In terms of that, he got 435 yards started, but he had 635 passing yards by the end of the season. Mm-hmm. He had 5 touchdowns receiving by the end of the season. And then once they put the full brunt of the workload on him, what happened? He started breaking down. What if Jahmyr Gibbs, and what if the Lions' vision for Jahmyr Gibbs, we want him to be in this role for a very long time. Yep. We'll keep bringing in bruisers. Like, we'll keep bringing in guys like David Montgomery who can rush for 1,200 or can take the beating that he took or that he gave the Green Bay Packers last Thursday.
He's going well over 1,000.
He'll be 1,300 for sure.
Yeah.
But Jahmyr Gibbs, 800 receiving yards, 800, 900 rushing yards. What if that's his role for a very long time? How they plan on using him, we'll see. It's how they plan on using him, but I think they may be on to something. I don't think it's turning him into Saquon Barkley, turning him into Josh Jacobs, turning him into CMC. Maybe it's just 800 yards rushing a year, 800 to 1,000 yards receiving a year.
I'll take it.
I think we all will. Guys, we're hoping you start your game day with us. Woodward in Maine, the Lions Insider Show. Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and the legend Terry Foster. They hit the airwaves Tuesdays 7 to 8. Then on Sundays 8 to 9. Watch on our YouTube page, Woodward Sports on YouTube. Guys, we will take a break. Jennifer Hammond at the top of the hour. She'll join us. We'll talk Lions with her, obviously. I've been covering the team for almost 3 decades now. But first, a message from Hamlin Pub.
Have you ever wanted a bar where you are a regular, we have just the place for you. Head to one of Hamlin Pub's 7 locations and experience where everyone's a regular. Whether you're enjoying a half-off pizza on Thursday or game day specials available during all Michigan sports and NFL games, Hamlin Pub is the place. Visit a location today and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports. Hamlin Pub, they always make you feel like a regular.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Would you like to enter to win a $100,000 Vegas getaway? Take your closest friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Cintron Energy. You can drink it. You can also live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win that $100,000 Vegas getaway at drinkcintron.com/Vegas and buy Cintron at your local Meyer Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste. You can feel good, look great, and be the best version of yourself with Cintron. You can register for that $100,000 Vegas getaway at drinkcintron.com/Vegas.
All right, welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway. If you are watching on YouTube, hit that like button for us. It helps YouTube push our content out to more people. Also, subscribe to our show. Coming up on 52,000 subscribers on this platform. Wherever you are, hopefully you're enjoying the last day in the 80s. Before the I'll
believe it when I see it.
Exactly. Well, I'll be happy about it. I don't know.
I don't want it to be 40 though. I heard it's going to be like in the 40s.
It's going to be in the 50s.
Sweater weather, baby.
Oh, what do you mean? What do you care about at night?
That's true. I can just open the window and enjoy it.
What do you care about at night? Guys, it's time. We do it every Wednesday for a little segment we call Cap or No Cap. Braylon?
Cap, no cap. You know what time it is. Cap means it's a lie. No cap means it is the truth. I will read the statement, and I will go around the room, and the fellas will tell me. You guys join at home. Jump in on the chat. Say if it's cap, it's no cap. We'll go around, we'll have some fun, and the hammer's coming up next segment. Let's start off with this one. You guys stole the thunder already.
Sorry.
Aiden is a Defensive Player of the Year contender. Cap or no cap?
No cap. No cap. He absolutely is. That is a true statement.
So right now you got him as a contender.
I have him as a contender.
No cap. No cap from me either. He is a definite contender. Might not get it this year, but look for it next year or the year after.
Did Parker steal?
Yes.
I think he did.
Oh my God!
I think he subconsciously had it in his head.
Stole it.
Well, I see this as like, is he a contender this year? I said in the future.
Well, yeah. No.
It's the same thing. If he's a contender this year, then he's a future contender.
There you go.
You got me on that.
Realistically. JV, contender, yay or nay?
He is a contender, but he will not win the award this year. Sorry.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. I'm gonna say no, not as of yet, just because T.J. Watt is they're in love with him. You look at this. T.J. Watt right now, Ryan Ermanni, has a #1 selling jersey. It's not Kelsey. It's not Mahomes. It's not Micah Parsons. T.J. Watt has the #1 selling jersey, and it's because the guy makes plays and you see it. So I think Aiden is right there but I still think right now it's about 5 guys just a little bit above him.
If the Detroit Lions go 12-5, 13-4.
The problem is those teams are also going 12-5 or 13-4. The guys are right there.
Well,
winning.
not the TJ Watt team.
When you're getting 22.5 sacks, you don't need to win games. So, yes, I say it is close, but it is a cap for me. Question number 2. Lions are a top 5 team currently. Ermanni would say
that's no cap. They absolutely are.
I saw the PFF came out and had the Lions ranked 8th,
top 5
so
team.
I took it further. I said they ranked 5th.
Buffalo, San Francisco. I'd still put Miami in there. Philadelphia is right, but I'll put them in there. And I think the Lions after that. You might even have to say the Seahawks.
Top 5, huh?
Top 5.
You got Buffalo, San Fran.
Miami.
Dolphins.
Cowboys.
Seahawks, Eagles.
Seahawks beat us. Eagles.
First of all, Eagles are 4-0, and they was in the Super Bowl last year. So
Right.
my Eagles,
They're
the Eagles,
up there.
I got them too, just based off the love.
All right, I got a cap
Cap.
on this one. I got them as a top 6 team,
All right,
not
cap,
a top
cap,
5.
Cap.
I think they're for sure a top 5 team in the league. I think
So no
San
cap.
Fran,
So
Buffalo.
no cap.
Oh yeah, no cap.
You got
There
no
you go.
cap.
Okay,
Buffalo,
let's answer correctly.
all those teams.
All righty, JB, what say you, brother?
Oh, no cap. If anything, I will probably put them 4th on this list.
All righty, you heard the man. I am also going to say this is no cap. The Lions are a top 5 team. Look, I love the Dolphins. I want the Dolphins. You know what the Dolphins don't have? They don't have an offensive line. They don't have defense. They don't have a defense. Right now, what I've seen on Detroit Lions, like them better than the Dolphins because they are a full, complete team. So I got Buffalo, San Fran, Cowboys, Eagles, Lions in mind. This is for Maz since he's become a Swiftie. Shout out to Jennifer Hammond in the building. Slide it, Jen. Slide it, boo.
Oh, Hammer.
There you go.
Oh, God, Hammer.
Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Who?
Taylor Swift and Travis make it to Christmas. Cap or no cap?
No cap. They will make
They
it
will
till
make it
Christmas.
to
Yeah.
Christmas.
They're making too much money together to not stay together through the holidays at least.
Ryan Ermanni, what say you? Taylor and was it Taylor and Travis? They make it to Christmas, cap or no cap?
The NFL will absolutely continue this through the Super Bowl.
Through the Super Bowl.
Can you imagine Taylor Swift in a box with Kansas City playing in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
good.
tough. That's tough. I say it's cap. I think they make it to Thanksgiving, and I think it's over.
It's over.
I think it might be over before that, but I think all they need to do is get to Thanksgiving, and I think they'd be good. So I say cap. I'll speed this up because I know the ham is here. Gibbs' usage is unconcerning. Cap or no cap?
Oh, that's no cap.
There it is, unconcerning.
It's no cap.
No cap.
Yeah,
You already proved it.
Yeah, based off the breakdown,
You
we'll call
already
it no
proved
cap
it.
on that. Lions win a playoff game. DC gets an extension.
Ooh, I don't know if he needs an extension.
People sometimes
got
get what they don't need.
3 year, maybe he get bump in pay.
Pay him now. That's still an extension.
Yeah, I say no cap.
No cap. He wins a playoff game, we're going to throw him a freaking parade.
Parade. JB.
You know they're winning one this year.
They are.
We know, but it's the question. They're going to win one, but still. Parker.
Oh, JB, go.
Oh, no cap. DC definitely gets an extension.
I say, yeah, if they win a playoff game, for sure, no cap.
All right, I agree with you guys. It is no cap. If they win a playoff game, which we all believe, he will definitely get an extension. J-Mo sees 25 snaps or more.
Ooh, 25
First game,
snaps. They
25
get
snaps or
60
more.
snaps probably this week. I'm going to go under 25.
Under 25.
Yeah.
So you're going cap. JB.
Cap. Under 25.
I see the ham out of my peripheral saying cap. This is a cap. He will not see 25
I'm going to
more.
say 10 to 15.
10 to 15?
You
10
ready
to
for this?
15.
This game's going to be out of hand, so it's no cap. He's going to get some extra stuff at the end of this game.
Oh,
this is like a
Maz.
preseason game for him.
Parker?
No cap.
No cap.
I'm not putting him in with Teddy Bridgewater, though, finishing the game.
They're going to run the ball.
I see this is no cap. I think he'll get 27 plays on the dot. And Maz, you're on to something.
Yes,
you're on to
sir.
something. Pistons win 30 or more games this year.
Oh,
Cap or no
Pistons
cap?
are in.
Pistons.
What they win? 17 last year?
Oh, man.
Barely.
What'd they win?
17.
17.
31?
30 or more. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, they're going to win 30 or more.
Kay Cunningham,
yeah, they're going to win 30 or more.
USA
So
practices.
no cap.
No cap.
All right.
No cap.
Do you
for
know
me.
anything about cap or no cap?
No, she don't know.
She don't know anything.
No
about
cap.
No cap.
Yeah, we're talking to you.
Last one. I didn't ask the question. He did.
I did.
I didn't ask. He asked the question.
No cap. Big time no cap.
Last one. And I'll start with you, Parker, so we can get Ham on the show. CMC is a legit MVP candidate.
Yes, for sure. If
He
he is in the
What's
front
the
runner right
answer?
now, in my opinion, I don't know who is.
What's the answer?
No cap.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No
CMC,
cap.
Cap
True.
is
That means
false.
it's a lie.
Cap is a lie. No cap is true. It's like a true or false.
Get with the program there, Hammer.
Exactly. So CMC
No cap.
is okay. So no cap. You
Definite.
going no cap?
No cap.
No cap, for sure. No cap. He's a top 3.
I'm going cap. Cap. This is cap.
Josh Allen?
Last non-quarterback to win the freaking
that's
the
true.
MVP was Adrian Peterson, 2012.
Well, there you go.
I'm going cap.
Cap.
They're not giving a running back the MVP.
They will not do that.
Especially not on that team.
They already paid him.
Especially not
That's
on that
right.
team. All right, look, they paid him just like they paid me. Let's get to a commercial.
You got it?
Let's
All right,
bring
guys,
Ham
we're going
on.
to take a break. When we come back, Jennifer Hammond in
Thank you.
studio. But first, a message from Glorious.
That sounds like me. You know what time it is. It's
You know
Glorious.
what time it
Best
is.
strand in the business. That's that Honolulu Blue with the bubble kush. It is smooth. You can buy it at any dispensary near you. Please go to Dispo because that's where we like to go. It is the stuff. And it's Glorious Cannon, CANNA.com. We do this, baby. Go get you some of that Honolulu Blue because they are going 13-4. See you later.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Hey gang, let's talk about Outdoor Equipment Company, the official outdoor equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. Bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, even weed whippers, Liberty trailers, Generac generators, Snow X plows and salters. Outdoor Equipment Company has it all. Buy it, rent it, 0% financing, delivered to your doorstep. OutdoorEquipCo.com, OutdoorEquipCo.com, your power equipment playground. Woodward Sports Network on a Wednesday. Matt, what are you doing up here?
I got kicked out.
Remember when Woodward Sports just started, Tom Mazaway was in fact on the desk,
I was.
the trip desk.
Me and the Mac.
You, McCarty, Pilar.
And Pilar, that's right.
How about that?
What a big three that was. The hook.
Oh, the hook.
The hook.
Absolutely.
But you know what? As you know, I grew up with all women in my family. 4 sisters, 3 daughters. Got to give the Hammer the seat, especially with the ring light shining on her.
That's all I wanted was the ring light.
I know you did, Hammer.
Truly.
Thanks
I don't
for
have
coming
one.
in.
My daughter has one. She's 22, and I have a 29-year-old. And it's amazing how these young ladies know about the ring light, and it's really impressive. I could see
Social
you
media.
glowing. So I wanted to.
You look good.
So social media, baby, you gotta get the angles.
Right?
You gotta get the angles.
It's all about the angles. Hammer, so glad to have you here.
I'm so glad to be here.
You know, I'm telling you, you have covered the Lions. Not to, I think it's an accomplishment more than anything.
I wear it like a badge of honor.
It's a marathon.
I'm 58 years
Right.
old, and I started covering the team in 1994.
Coming up on three
I know-
decades, right?
Yes.
No, I mean, I'm saying that you have seen it all. Is
Yes.
what I'm saying.
And it's actually, and I won't get into the full details of how the story and what the question was, but we were in Green Bay last Wednesday evening in the fine establishment at the hotel where the team stays in Appleton. And I was having a conversation with Brad Holmes, who I'm going to tell you, I love that guy. He is the man, and he, like Sheila, Brad, obviously Chris and Disner, all of them, top to bottom, that whole management group, I love them. And Brad Holmes said to me, so he just kind of picked my brain. He's like, so you've covered this team for a minute, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, 94 was my first year. Wayne Fonts and Tom Moore and Lou Boudreau, John Tierlink came along eventually.
Great
you know,
offense.
Herb Patera. They had a lot of
Herb
guys
Patera.
come through these doors.
Wow.
God
Right.
rest his soul.
Yeah.
Had a lot of people come through those doors. And he said to me, he's like, you must have seen some. Am I allowed to swear on here?
Yeah, sure.
You must have seen some shit.
I love it.
I'm telling
yes, I
you,
did.
and I think what we always talk about up here too with Braylon. I mean, somebody who's been in these organizations, you know whether you got a good organization or a bad organization the minute you walk in the door. Bray, you always talk about it walking in the Cleveland Browns facility in 2005. You knew right away what the next couple of years were going to be like, and I think for a lot of Lions players, Jen, until this group has come, it's been like that.
For sure. What's interesting, though, about that Wayne Fonts era, and you guys probably can attest to this, you saw it.
I remember walking through the rotating doors.
The team played for them.
They did.
The team played for him. They would go on a run at the end of the season
Thanksgiving.
because from Thanksgiving, they never lost on Thanksgiving under Wayno, and I think it had something to do with, you know, the fact that he treated them pretty well. He was a pretty good coach for them. But it's interesting. I think it was Charlie Batch, maybe in 2002, 3, whenever he left Detroit, and we saw him the next time when he went to Pittsburgh, and he said, "You guys, you have no idea how different it is when you're walking in the door in the morning next to Mr. Rooney, and he knows your name, and he's chatting and asking you how you are and how you're, and this. I'm not trying to besmirch or begrudge anyone, but there are certain franchises that have done it a certain way for a long, long time, and the winning goes with that.
Yep.
Jen, you're absolutely correct. I remember leaving Cleveland. I remember leaving Berea and going to Florham Park. It was like night and day. I walked into this $300 million complex, and there's Woody Johnson, there's Rex, there's Mike Tannenbaum. When I go to Seattle, there's Brian Snyder, there's Paul Allen, rest in peace, and there's Pete Carroll, the life of the party. Absolutely correct. But Brad Holmes is what I want to get back to. Had a chance to meet him at Calvin's outing. Won that outing, by the way. Shout out to Rocky Mortgage.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I didn't know you were a golfing gentleman.
I am. But
man,
Rocky
this
Mortgage
guy.
really put on for that one. But I met Brad Holmes, man, and when you meet guys in that position, guys that are GMs, guys that have power, guys that run teams, guys that have some success, they're always the nicest people. He was friendly. He was engaging. He talked about me. That's how you know someone. He talked about me more, and I'm trying to talk about him, and he wants to talk about me. But it's not about somebody's a good person. It's about are they right for the job, and damn it, is he right for this job? Talk about what he's done in the draft. Sam Laporta, Brian Branch. It just goes on and on. Amon-Ra St. Brown. You can't miss.
And I love the mentality, and we're going to start to see it now, especially with J-Mo coming back. Does a guy deserve the playing time? They're not just handing out playing time because you're a first-round pick. They're not, hitching their wagon to a horse that's not going to get them where they need to go. And I think that's really the greatest philosophy you see from guys who are like, okay, maybe we missed on this one, next.
Yeah.
And it feels already, I don't know who they've really had to move on from, but it feels already like they understand and can grasp the concept of doing that.
It's kind of like John Lynch from the 49ers and Veach from the Chiefs. Listen, they've had some misses. Trey Lance is a miss. Solomon Thomas is a miss. Veach has had some misses. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, a couple other guys. And what happened? They move on from him. They don't
cut your losses.
They don't double down, and I think that's a sign of a GM, and I think that's Brad Holmes. That's the energy you're talking.
We saw a lot of that with the previous regime. I think that really got Bob Quinn into a lot of trouble in Detroit.
I'm glad you mentioned him because I want to. Earlier, you were talking about how the team played for Wayne Fontes, and the team probably you could say the same thing. The team played for Jim Caldwell.
Yes.
But the organization at that time, nobody liked Bob Quinn. Nobody. I mean, just insert general manager here. I mean, Matt Millen and Marty Morningweg, you always had these fractures within the building. There's no fracture anymore, and I think when you tell people around the country or around the city what's different with this Detroit Lions organization, it does start with Sheila and then just trickles down from there. It's a different feeling.
And I love Sheila, and if you saw the interview that Dan Miller did with her
we played it here
on the night of the opener, she just was unapologetically herself and said, I knew we had to change this thing from the bottom up. She comes in from the top and wants to change it from the bottom up, and every conversation was about, what do you do? How do you do it? How do you like to do it? What's good about your job? What's not good about your job? I mean, it's almost and I don't want to turn it into a female motherly thing because I think that would be disingenuous and not giving her enough credit as a professional business owner.
Sure. Right.
But she just had this real sense and this innate instinct to talk to every single person in the organization. And when I think you're seen and you're heard at work, what do? You want to run through a brick wall for anybody.
Any business.
And when it starts at the top, it's a game changer.
No doubt.
Hey, Jen, I'll never forget the day when we knew that she was a true blue Lion fan, when she buried her face in her hands on that Thanksgiving Day against the Houston Texans. And things changed. They fired Patricia, thankfully, and later on they move on from Quinn. So we knew this was the right woman for the job, and she's been at her dad's toe from the beginning. She wanted to be involved in this, but back in the day, women weren't in. But she wanted to be involved from day one, and now she's got her chance. And you know what? They booed her when they had Calvin Johnson on the field. They didn't realize what really she was building, and she defended her guys. We got the right guys, and she does.
And I love that when she came out, and you'll have to refresh me on what that date was last year. I guess it was right before the bye.
It was. I think it was with the Calvin Hall of Fame induction.
But everybody when she did the media scrum that midweek at the practice facility.
That was after 1-6.
After 1-6, and everybody was hammering them, coming down on them. It's what have you done for me lately? And everyone kind of piles on. I'm sure that we've all done it at one point or another in our careers. But when she came out and said, I'm standing by my guys, I believe in them, I know what they're doing, I trust their process, it was such a balls out move for her to do that. And she got shredded. She got shredded during the Calvin thing and shredded again. And she's, I'm sure behind closed doors, there's a lot of emotion, man or woman, there's a lot of emotion. When somebody comes after you, it's hard to take.
Yeah.
But she just stood up and she just, straightened her back and she stood her ground. And hell yes, Sheila. I love her. Her husband's great to support her. Even Martha's still around the organization, her sisters. There's a whole lot of support throughout ownership right now for this team and for Brad and Dan. And the way that they just give them so much. They empower them.
Where's her brother, by the way, Junior?
So Junior's running an auto company, I think. He's got a little bit on his plate.
He really loved this team.
He does love this team still. Did. I fully believe he loves this team still, and I hope we get to see him again. And to your point, Braylon, when you were saying that Brad Holmes asked you about yourself, one of my very first days on the job at WDFN, it must have been in 1994, June or July of 94.
I can't believe it's
Lions
been that
were
long.
having a little golf outing at TPC in Dearborn, and they gave me a tape recorder that I carried on my shoulder with a cord and a microphone, and Stoney or somebody's like, Greg Henson's like, go get an interview with Bill Ford Jr., and I'm like, oh my God, I'm terrified. So I went up to start speaking with him, and he said, oh, so hey, you're new to the new radio station, so where are you from? Oh, Birmingham. Oh, where'd you go to high school? Oh, Seaholm. Oh.
Okay.
And it was so disarming and so lovely to have him want to even have a conversation with me. I was, 28, 29 years old, and he's a great guy.
They're good people.
I absolutely love that.
They're good people.
And I love what you said about Sheila. She stood her feet in the ground. She stood her place. She said, no, I'm not moving off this mark. If I have to eat all of this, I'm going to take it because I understand what my mission is. It's to fix this thing, like you said, from the bottom up. But I want to talk about another guy. You just talked about last guy you mentioned was DC. You mentioned 1-5. Last year they started off 1-6 after going 3-13-1. In the last 15 games, he's 11-4. Talk about what DC has meant to this team, this city, just how good of a coach he actually is proven to be.
He is exactly the same guy he was from the minute he walked in the door.
Kneecaps.
To when they were 1-5 to now 3-1. And I think that's the recipe for him, is that he is unchanged. When he does this, with his hand, keep it level, that is what it is. And it's interesting because there was, I watched the Kansas City game here in Detroit with some friends over at a bar.
Mhm.
And it was on TV, and a friend said to me, he goes, you know what? I got to give you credit. Or no, he said, he goes, I remember something you said, which actually I got scared. What did I say? And
What
he
was
said,
that at the time?
Yeah, right? And he said, 3 years ago, when Campbell came in, and I said, this guy's a buffoon. So this is, my buddy Mike saying it to me. He said, I thought he was a buffoon, and you said, no, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Just get to know him, give him a minute. He goes, I love him now. And I think everybody has really started, he's so unapologetically himself, but he's so smart.
Yeah.
He loves, God, I just want to swear all the time when I think
That's
of
all
Dan
good.
Gamble.
Yeah.
Like
Step and go.
he wants his players to succeed. He believes in what they're doing. He is all about grit and hard work. And it sounds like such a catchphrase, but it's so legit. Dan Campbell he's a what you see is what you get. I mean, he is an Aries after all. So.
One of the big things that I can, and look back and say I was wrong on is, remember that first year, remember when he was crying? After
Yes.
one of those losses, he
Yeah.
cried. And you guys both were on the side of, I love that guy. He's passionate about the team, man. He really cares about the guys. And I took the side.
It was Minnesota, wasn't it?
It was
when
Minnesota.
It was very.
No, he cried. No,
I don't remember.
No, first
Hang
time
on.
he cried, it was a
I'm
loss.
going to Google Dan Campbell cries.
No,
Okay, go ahead.
He botched the clock?
Yes, first time he
Okay.
cried, it was a loss. Next time
Okay.
he cried,
Yes.
it was the Minnesota game.
Got it.
But when he cried after the loss, I'm a player. I'm in the locker room. I said, I want to see my coach crying after the loss at the podium. I was absolutely wrong.
I loved it.
I was absolutely wrong
and
at that
I
moment.
meant-
That endeared his players to him, and like you said, he has stayed that even kill since.
I love him.
I'm not going to say I told you so.
You did.
Because it hasn't happened yet.
Oh.
But in that first year, I don't know if either of you remember, I did say that the Lions will win a Super Bowl with Dan Campbell as their head coach.
You said a lot of stuff, and I remember that too.
In 2015, I said that I thought they'd win one by 2020 with
Caldwell.
Jim Caldwell.
Yeah.
I did put that tweet out there, but
Hey,
because
that
I thought they were
2014
going. They
team.
had some really good. They had some really good players.
That 2014
2014.
team.
Yeah.
That was the team.
A defensive line.
That was the team.
You got another segment for us? You got some time for
I
us?
have until
oh my.
I have until 5 o'clock.
Oh wow!
It's
Is that right?
It's National Vodka Day.
Oh
so.
my gosh,
That's
it
what I was about to
is.
say. Okay.
But I want to talk
It is?
about. I want to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the team on the field, what they're doing right this year, how far they can go, individual players. You were in the scrum yesterday with Jameson
Yeah.
Williams. I want your
We
opinion.
heard your question.
We'll go to JMO. We played your question and his answer about the jugs machine and all that stuff. We'll talk about JMO coming up next. I do want to let everybody know to start your game day with us. It is the Lions pregame show. Jeff Iafrate is your host all season long. I will be with him this week, 9:30 to 11:30 on WSN's YouTube channel. Jeff Iafrate, Ryan Ermanni, Lions pregame show, 9:30 to 11:30 here on Sunday. Also, we'd like to give you a message from Swiss.
Yes. Do you have football on the brain like us? Of course you do, obviously. Fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year has already been awesome. Fall is the perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance.
Hurry up,
and
Mother.
shop it like a pro with the pros
Like a
at
pro
Swiss
with the pro.
Insurance. They cover us here at WSN, and they should be covering you as well. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at SwissINS.com or give them a call at 248-800-4177. Swiss Insurance.
Swiss Insurance.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports. Woodward and Main Street. The Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
It's getting cold outside. Well, at least tomorrow it will be. So you know what you got to do? You got to go inside the golf. Best place to do it is 5 Iron Golf, downtown Detroit, the Caribbean Hotel. Sim rentals, lessons, league, bar, restaurant, the whole 9 yards. 13 brand new TrackMan simulators. You can play any golf course around the world. I know Ham likes skiing on that golf course. Maybe we'll get her down there.
I would like
Drink,
that.
party, and play. It's getting cold outside. You want to be downtown, but you want to be inside. 5 Iron Golf is your destination.
We are having some fun here on Woodward Sports Network. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Coming up on 52,000 subscribers on this platform. Hit the like button as well. Helps YouTube push our content out to more people. We are joined on this Wednesday in studio from the great Jennifer Hammond of Fox 2, a longtime sports reporter in this city, and of course, longtime sufferer of the Detroit Lions.
Oh, I never suffer. I never suffer.
This is true.
I never lose. I either win or learn.
Oh, I like that.
Absolutely.
Hey, Jen, did your bar bill, did Brad Holmes pick up your bar bill as well? You know he picked up your
So
crack
actually,
bands.
yeah, I wanted to clarify that little inconsistency. We had a beverage, and it was actually Mike Disner who picked up the tab for crack.
Thank you, Mike.
But Brad was the one saying, get that guy at the end of the bar. Get that guy in the overalls.
So it was Brad's suggestion.
Brad's
suggestion. Disner's money.
Disner's money.
I like it. That's what a general manager does. That's what a GM does.
And I got to tell you, I love Mike Disner. Even though he went to Groves, I went to see him. He went to.
Yeah.
I'm okay with Diz. He's a great guy.
That is so funny.
Great guy.
It's so funny interviewing Jennifer Hammond being on the other side. Like, I'm used to being on that side of Jennifer Hammond getting interviewed, but now I'm
The
interviewing
cheese
you.
to hammer you with the questions?
You're cornball.
Come on,
That was
man.
nice. Easy, right?
Nice and easy.
Easy peasy.
Hey, Jen, I think obviously one of the biggest storylines this week is Jamison Williams back on the field. Suspension reduced from 6 games to 4 games. He was back at the facility talking to the media yesterday. You were there. What was your takeaway from just standing next to him and talking to him yesterday?
I have never seen that kid, and I call him a kid with all due respect. He's the age of my children.
Right.
Smile, and he was so engaging. When he came in, it was a very different JMO, and I'm not sure what that was a result of. Maybe that he was coming off the injury, that the Lions moved up. At that point in time, people weren't on this big hype train. There wasn't a lot of Lions love going around. I would love to talk to him on an off-the-record basis about what he really felt when the Lions, moved up to take him. But he was ecstatic to be back in the building. And Randall L. spoke to us yesterday and said the greatest thing, and the minute he saw me was like, L, screaming down the hall. I mean, he was overjoyed to be back in the building with his teammates and to be able to get back to work and get on this train. Could you imagine sitting at home? He said he had one really bad day throughout the suspension, and that was the day that they kicked off against the Chiefs. He said, I went through the whole day, pretended as if it was like game day. I did a lot of my game day routine stuff, and then I sat down to watch it. And he just said, he didn't use the word depression, but I'm equating, kind of putting, just a very down, somber, sitting and watching his team kick off, and then to see them win and not be able to enjoy that and sharing that with his teammates. Obviously, he was thrilled that they won, but he said that was the only down day, and he said every day from there was straight up. And I think this is a kid that is ready to prove himself. And I know that he's getting hammered about only doing 100 jugs a day.
That's the first thing I say.
But he's got a jugs machine and he's doing 100 jugs a day. Let's not pile on somebody for doing something something.
Good. Right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do
I only
that.
lost 1 pound last week, but I lost a pound, guys.
He had a lot of
Darn it.
free, he had a lot
Well,
of
I
free
found
time,
it.
so he should have been on that jug machines. But no, I can tell you what he was thinking. As a guy that left Michigan to get drafted by the Cleveland Browns, he was like, F no, I don't want to go there.
Right.
As a guy leaving Alabama, going to the Detroit Lions, he was like, F that, I don't want to go there. But now they're not the same old Detroit Lions, and I use that pun on purpose. They're not the same old team. So now that you're coming back to a team, it's 3-1. They're 3-1. They lead the division. There are people that talk about to be a Super Bowl contender. What are you expecting from Jameson? Like, this is just you, me and you. Me and you talking. What are you expecting?
I'm going
to
to go
see out of him?
under on the 25 touches.
That's fine. But
25
what do you want to
plays,
see
25 snaps.
performance-wise?
Performance-wise, obviously he's going to be a little rusty because
Okay.
remember also he had the hamstring. He
Yeah.
didn't finish all of camp and get as much as he could have out of that process. I do think it'll be a little slow. I think timing with Jay Goff might be off a bit. It's also going to be interesting to see how much Jared goes to him, looks to him. He has an amazing relationship already with Laporta.
Yeah.
Jared's a big trust guy. And it's not to say that Jared doesn't not trust JMO, but he just hasn't built up, that snack lunch of, hey, I know where my guy's going to be. And it's...
Can I stop you for a minute?
Please.
There's a really interesting point you're making right now, too, about the trust factor. JMO's trust, and then the coach's trust with them. You mentioned in the last segment about they're not just putting this kid on the field because he was picked 12th overall. He's going to have to earn that playing time. And yes, there's a dynamic to it, but how do you see that whole working your way back and earning that playing time? Because if you're going to play, that means one of these guys that have been busting their tails over the last month of the season is going to be out of the game probably, whether that's a Khalif Raymond, a Marvin Jones, somebody like that.
Marv, I think, may be a little bit of,
Yes.
Yeah, we got you.
what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to say this nicely.
Graduating?
Well, maybe see a few less snaps that
Right.
they could put JMO in
Helping
for.
Randall L.
I also think, though, and I've never been a big subscriber, Ermanni, to that whole decoy.
Right.
High price decoy. But if you put that guy out there, you're going to have to respect the speed.
Sure.
You're going to have to put a guy on him. And maybe that's going to help, open things up for Gibbs. I feel like I can't wait to see once they get humming along, if they can get to that actual humming along with Gibbs and JMO, the speed, think about watching, and I think it was Dave Burkett asked him about the Miami Dolphins. Did he watch that, and how much fun is it to see that kind of speed, and is that the kind of speed he thinks about playing with? The Lions could have that. Something similar if they can start to stretch the field. But even if they don't stretch the field, Laporta for 45 yards, give me that all day. That guy doesn't drop a ball. Amon-Ra, those guys are really reliable. And if you have another great element in JMO and he proves his value and worth, he's going to see some time.
Hey, Jen, in hindsight, I said this a little earlier before you got here. Do you think what's happened with JMO, with the suspension and the hamstring in preseason and last year coming back from the ACL, all this time off, in reality, they didn't really need him. They went 8-2 down the stretch. They're 3-1 now. They're playing with house money. This kid comes in, he's got to be completely healthy and really could be much better off than he would have been if he was pushing himself earlier.
And I think there's also a dynamic. I like to play psychologist in sports because I think it impacts things more than you realize, and maybe, Braylon, you can speak to this as a former player.
Yeah.
I think this kid, being on the outside, looking in, he did a little soul searching.
Without question.
And he realizes that this team can go without him, and he wants to get on that train. And I think even MCDC, I can't get used to calling him that, but I love it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think Campbell said yesterday or Monday, you know what? The train is going, and you better run and get on.
And Bray,
Train's not stopping. You got to get on.
But the thing that she's saying too that I think is important, when you take something away from somebody, whether it's injuries or suspension, whether you're a hairstylist back here and maybe you break your hand and you can't cut hair,
or you lose a job.
You lose a job. You miss doing that. And I have to imagine that Jameson Williams has missed playing football.
It's like Jim Harbaugh says, a renewed vigor unknown to mankind. It's absolutely true. Like, I tore my ACL my rookie year, December 4th on my mom's birthday against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And you'll never forget that date.
I'll never forget I'll never get the song playing at the time. I'll never forget any of that. But when I tore my ACL, Jen, it's the first time I'd ever been injured. Not in high school, never been injured and had to miss time. And I couldn't play football. I couldn't go to meetings. I couldn't do what I wanted to. I couldn't cut. I couldn't catch passes. I couldn't do 7-on-7 and OTAs. I couldn't play basketball. It just made me refocus. It made me ask myself, is this what I really want to do? Do I want to play football? Like, I tore my ACL. Like, do I want to be here? Do I want to be in Cleveland? Because Cleveland stinks.
Yeah.
It's like, so if you really want to pursue this dream, if you really want to do it, you got to go all in. You got to start getting rid of some things, start getting rid of some people. You got to change the way you think about some things. And we talked about it yesterday with Zach Wilson. From his turning point from last year to now, he grew up. He grew the hell up. And what I noticed about J-Mo in that interview today, from last year, or not even last year, from when he first found out about the suspension.
Training camp.
From training camp till now, he looks like a different person. Not only
Totally
excited,
different.
he just looks like he looks like a sponge. Like, he's already taking the information that people are giving him. So I understand what that moment is. When you get something taken, it definitely sucks.
Guys, I'm going to take a break. Hammer, stay right there. When we come back, I want to ask you how good this team can be this year. How good are they this year? Where do you rank them in the NFC? Do you anticipate them fighting for a number 1 seed, a number 2 seed? How far can they get this season? I'm going to ask you that and where this thing is going. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Calling all landscapers, this is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. So register today at OutdoorEquipCo.com, and even you could have DMAC on your landscaping crew.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live this Sunday, the official Lions VIP tailgate party. It's at Eastern Market inside Shed 5. It's going to be a bash, 9:30 until game time. The official Lions tailgate is back and better than ever. How would you like to pregame with Woodward Sports and be treated like a VIP? Food, beverages, entertainment, all included. Get your tickets online today at bullseyeeventgroup.com, bullseyeeventgroup.com, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Direct message of Lions VIP.
Does Jen know we're live on Fox too?
No, we are live on.
I did know that.
Yes.
That's why I'm here, right?
Oh, well, just want to know.
That we're live on Fox
Yes,
too.
live on Fox2Detroit.com, the Fox local app.
I did a bad thing. So
Uh-oh.
I was sick. I got very sick last week.
No kidding.
I was quite ill, and Dan Miller may or may not have caught his sickness.
Oh God. Oh God.
And you know how it is.
He ain't happy about that.
No, he wants to
Kill you.
wring my neck.
You got to deny.
He'll be okay. He'll be okay.
It wasn't that
But I feel
bad,
much
though.
better. I've been on steroids though. It's so weird though. I don't know. Can I ask you guys if any of you ever been on steroids? Taking steroids
I'm on
before?
steroids all the time.
I have a crazy range of emotions. Like my son, flat out was like, "Mom,
Are you on prednisone?
tripping." I'm on prednisone.
The prednisone pack, yeah, those
Woo!
are
My mom went from like laying on
Trend
the couch
or
to
day
almost
ball?
doing jumping jacks, and my mom doesn't get off the couch.
Well,
We're on prednisone.
I'm a little juiced to say the least, but I'm also really bitchy.
Not you. If this is
Not
you,
you.
bitchy.
Oh my God! Ask the guy who wanted to like add $300 worth of bumpy cake at our 40th high school reunion, and I like nearly leapt out of my skin at him. He's like, I didn't know bumpy cake would be such an issue. I'm like,
So offensive.
Go for that right now.
Oh my
Right?
God, no
I'll
doubt.
get you some.
Thank you.
Hey, Heber, just sitting here talking about the Detroit Lions.
God, and couldn't you do it all day, every day right
yeah,
now?
and we do.
We do.
This is what we do. We talk for 2 hours about the Detroit
I
Lions.
must talk about them in my sleep.
Like if we mention Michigan, it's got to be like a 15-second
Right.
spot. Hey, so University of Michigan won this past week, and next week they play
Well,
Ohio State. We'll see you next week.
You know,
And everybody's
honestly,
like, yeah, call me in January.
That's what everybody's saying.
you know, honestly, and,
I'm not
and
taking
for
it for
us,
granted.
one of the unique things that we have here, just doing an online show, is you know exactly how many people are watching you, like down to the number.
How many are watching us?
Right now, 800 live.
Oh.
You know, and
Is there anyone that I know?
I don't know. And
Get on the chat there.
you know, and honestly,
I need to get into the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
That one, the Madison is hooked up. Should
But
be.
you know, when we'll YouTube a clip out or something like that, you can get 20,000 views. Maybe the live show will get 7,000 or 8,000 views, whatever the case may be. But you know what the people want.
Lions.
If you talk about anything other than the Lions, and God bless the Pistons and the Tigers and the Red Wings,
Oh,
God
no.
bless them. But if you talk about them, you have no viewers.
Yeah.
You might have 100.
Yeah.
And so what we do all day, every day, is we talk about the Detroit Lions because that's what the market dictates. You know, I mean, that's the
NFL
only
is
thing.
king, baby.
It is.
They give me
So
the last 3 minutes to get my baseball fix in, and
I give them
talk
the
a little
last.
something.
I give them the
talk
last
baseball.
8 minutes.
I'm feeling a lot of love for the Tigers.
Me too.
No
After
doubt.
sitting Monday with AJ and
Yep.
Scott.
I know. We're on our way.
They are on their way.
Jay, can I ask you a non-biased question?
Sure.
We think everybody in Detroit is turning around right now. At least I do. I see Detroit, and I feel like I'm not Detroit. I see the Lions, and I feel like everybody is looking at Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, like SHIT. I got to get my stuff together too. Iserman is turning around. Their wins have gone up every year. The Pistons, they went out and paid $2 billion for Monty Williams, rightfully so.
Yeah.
You gotta bring somebody in to course correct.
Yeah.
They went and drafted and moved some players.
It's
and
in
then
NBA coaches, you get what you pay for.
100%.
That's the Larry
100%.
Brown. Bring him.
Quality over quantity. And then obviously Scott Harris you bring up. Doesn't it just seem like Detroit is kind of inching back to the whole city being good sports-wise?
The trajectory is really encouraging right
Okay.
now.
Good
We're
word.
still several years away for the Tigers.
True.
I think they're going to win their division next year.
They have a great chance. I mean,
They have a
Minnesota
great
won it
chance.
this year.
They have a great chance. And how about the win that they got yesterday?
No.
See, I love the wild card. I
me
love
too.
baseball. And just watching that game in Minnesota, I kept on feeling all of the feels, all the feels.
Even that Miggy game with the.
Oh, that was
I mean,
incredible. But with a packed house and a
Carlos
crowd.
Correa, great play.
And remember, I mean, just maybe I'm dating myself, but my God, was there anything better than 2006?
No.
And when that ballpark
We were all
is
there.
full, it is magic.
It's magic.
A baseball stadium full of any stadium, and that's why I think COVID really gave me my love for covering sports. It renewed it again.
And again, when you take something away from somebody,
took it away
you
because
know,
I was starting to feel a little like Groundhog's Day. Okay, I've been at Fox for 23, 20 years, whatever. You know, it feels like the same story every year, and teams weren't winning. And boy, it gets challenging. And people are like, "Well, you're paid to go to a game. What do you care?" Well, guess what? When you have to try to tell a story and engage people, and your team's not doing well, it's not fun. And the players don't like you, and you don't like talking to them, and it just all goes around. But after COVID, and then the fans coming back into the buildings, and now with Dan and Brad, and Lalonde with the Wings and Stevie, obviously, and that team is trying to trend in the right direction, and the Tigers are moving up. And with Monty Williams as well, and Troy Weaver, my God, I love that guy.
Troy.
Not my favorite soundbite, but boy, do I love
Trader
his
Troy.
plan and the way that he is methodically building this team.
I feel like he needs a big year this year, Troy, a little bit.
I think he's going to get one.
Yeah.
I do think he's going to get one because Monty's going to get those guys playing defense.
Did you throw your hat, your name in the hat for the Tigers play-by-play gig?
Oh, no. I couldn't ever do that. And you know what? I just want to say nobody in this business, in this town, has worked harder than Matt Shepard.
Totally agree.
Agree.
I actually texted him today, and he got right back to me.
I texted him yesterday.
It was such a pro. Like, he
yeah,
is such a pro.
Pro's pro.
You know,
and I know that he didn't always jibe with everybody and whatever, be that as it may, whatever it is, but great guy. Can't say enough nice things about him as a person and how hard he worked.
Seriously, I did too, because, you know, whether you thought he was great on the air or hated him on the air, it's, you know, that's your perspective. But that guy worked as hard as you will ever find anybody in any industry work in that industry.
And what's that saying? But for the grace of God, there go I.
Yeah.
We're all going to get fired one day. Our
No
dream
doubt.
is all going to come to an end.
I've been fired.
All of our dreams.
I think we've all been fired at some point.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Actually, I did get fired from. I worked at the
That
club.
radio business
the
is a
Club
nasty
Soda.
business.
I worked at the Club Soda in Kalamazoo. In college, I was a cocktail waitress there, and it was the day before the Bears were playing down in New Orleans at the Super Bowl against the Patriots. And I was born in Chicago, and I have a bunch of friends from college from Chicago. They said, we're road tripping tonight. We're going to Champaign-Urbana, partying tonight there, then going to watch the Super Bowl downtown Chicago on Sunday. And I said, well, I have to work. And they're like, no, you got to come. And I'm like, okay. And so I called in. I said, I can't make it to work tonight. I'm going to Chicago. And they're like, well, if you don't come in, you're fired. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I left.
Great choice. Great choice.
You made a choice.
It was great.
You were downtown when it happened?
I was downtown in Chicago when the Bears won that Super Bowl.
Wow.
In 1985,
85.
right? January of 85.
Yeah.
Boy, it must have been 12 degrees below zero.
Oh yeah.
It was frigid. It was
Too bad they didn't
amazing.
get the ball
I
out
can't
there.
wait for the city of Detroit to have that.
Are they going to have that?
I'm going to get
when
emotional.
Are they going to have that? Sit right there. And one more break, and I do want to ask you about that. But first, a message from Big Boy.
All right, guys, you know it. It's cheeseburger and chicken sandwich time at Big Boy. The best bacon chicken, best chicken sandwich around. It's the Dolly chicken sandwich and Bob's hot chicken sandwich. Make sure you upgrade those fries as well. Get the chili cheese fries or the loaded baked potato fries. Save room for the Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder pie and those funnel cake fries. You're going to get it. Get those shakes as well at Big Boy.
Funnel Cloud.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
At the Academy of Warren, they have a brand new state-of-the-art sports dome field house with a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, and soccer field that can also be used for 7-on-7 football K-8 that features AM/PM latchkey, small classroom sizes, learning street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and obviously so much more. The Academy of Warren is now accepting new enrollment, so go to theacademyofwarren.net. You know how or what Ryan says, Academy.
Absolutely. Jen, how good can this Lions team be this year?
So, gosh.
Sorry, she's trying to get on the Wi-Fi. Hit her right.
I'm okay. No, but I do say, oh gosh, about that question because people, it's interesting to me how a lot of people will make their prognostications and their predictions at the beginning of the season, and then as they win games or lose games, they change it. Well, that's not a prediction. So at the beginning of the year, I predicted 10-7.
Okay.
I am staying with that because after 2 games, they were 1-1. I picked those games wrong.
But that's fine.
They were still 1-1.
Most people did.
I did not.
Yeah, in hindsight. I believe this team will host a home playoff game.
Yes.
They will win the division.
Yes.
But asking someone after 4 games and hearing people start to say, oh, they're going to win the NFC. I think you were the one that, weren't we having a little kibitzing, texting back and forth on this, they're going to win the NFC Championship, and I'm like,
I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but I do think with their schedule, they can compete for a number 1 seed. And by that, I mean...
Bucs look like a much better team than I expected them to be.
Sure, but I still think you're better than them.
New Orleans is a hard place to win.
It is, but I don't think there's a team on this schedule that
Dallas
I consider...
is going to be a really hard place to win.
Automatic loss. But, maybe...
Baltimore. Baltimore.
You can
not
take
an
Dallas
easy place
out
to
of it,
win.
though. But yeah, there's some games. You got Ravens is going to be a tough one. Chargers are going to be a tough one. Dallas is expected to be a tough one. And if I'm being honest, by the time they get to the Broncos could be interesting by that time.
No, they're going to kick the snot out of the Broncos.
I understand that, but I just named 4.
Oh my God, what if they don't?
I have one 13-4.
Got plenty of time for the Broncos.
All right, I'll let you out.
No, but
you think they're going to go 13-4?
12-5,
what did you pick at the
13-4.
beginning of the season?
Oh,
Sorry
I'm glad
to
you
interrupt.
asked that, partner. When you get that video, put that up for me. I'll show you.
He loves showing this video.
Don't be like that.
No.
Don't be that
joking
guy.
with you.
I'm just joking too.
What was your prediction?
12-5.
Yeah.
Oh, so you only altered it by 1.
12-5, but right now I'm perfect.
It's hard to win in the NFL.
Yeah.
You need help.
Spoken like a former player.
Right. But you need to be healthy, right?
You need to be healthy.
Stay healthy.
And that's the other thing. Like, it would be as if I started running a marathon and I got into the 4th mile and started expressing that because I ran those first 4 miles so fast, I was going to be able to get the rest of the way healthy without getting a cramp or without getting gassed. It's a long way to go. It's a long season. There's a lot of things at play. I just hope they don't have to see Seattle in the playoffs. I'm already thinking that.
I want them.
I don't.
Pete Carroll's a hell of a coach, and he gets underrated big time. But, man, do they owe that team an ass whooping. And they'll get him. The next time they play him, they'll finally get him.
We said that about this game this year, didn't we?
We did.
No, he said that about this game this year.
I did. But you know what? They were out-coached in that game, and the offense and Dan Campbell made some bad choices, and they gave that game away.
And
that
the
gave
defense,
it away.
boy, I wish they would have just been a little more aggressive.
Yeah.
I know that they didn't want to give up certain stuff, and they had to play that soft zone and whatever, but
lost 5 players in that game.
Yeah, it was a tough one.
Yeah.
Here you go. Take a quick look at it. You can't hear, I don't think, but you'll be able to see the W versus the L's on the graph. Go ahead, Parker. I may or may not have been on Glorious Cannabis when I filled this out this morning at 8:30. So, hey, we'll have some fun and we'll figure it out. Let's start with the Detroit Lions schedule. Let's get you the wins and losses, starting with the game tomorrow night. That would be the Kansas City Chiefs and the Detroit Lions. I'm going with
Wow.
Are the Dubs after?
This is before the season.
Yeah, but the Dubs are after the team. Yeah.
So they're going to lose at the Bears. I actually picked that as a loss before the season.
I picked it before the season. I thought they would lose one in the division.
I picked them to lose at Dallas.
Minnesota's horrible.
That's pretty freaking good, though. But I mean, even if you give them one more loss,
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I did pick 13-4. I was
13-4.
I was tripping.
You were tripping.
I think they're going to lose. Baltimore.
But I think it's going to balance out because now they'll beat the Bears, and then let's say they lose to Dallas, it's still 13-4.
Yeah, so they'll be 5.
Baltimore's offense stinks.
Lamar Jackson.
Either way,
they got the most touchdowns in the red zone.
It doesn't matter.
Hold on, they got the most touchdowns in the red zone right now, and Lamar Jackson's number 2 in passing accuracy. How do they stink?
Either way, 12 wins.
I'll take my chances.
12 wins.
I feel you.
You're
I take mine
talking-
too, but I'm telling you what they are right now.
12 wins, you're talking about a number 2 seed, perhaps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And heaven forbid somebody bites San Francisco or but I do think that Dallas is going to win that division. Even though the Eagles are 4-0, I think Philadelphia is ripe for a couple of losses here. We'll find out shortly. But I think you're looking at competing anyway for a 2 seed.
I just don't want to get too. I can't get emotionally involved with this team.
See, I can, and I think that's part of the enjoyment of the ride. For as bad as we've all had it here for our entire lifetimes, I don't want to cheat myself out of any fun potentially that you could have. Like this week has been so fun.
Yes.
Not only because they won in Green Bay, but the way they won in Green Bay. So every week of the season, I'm enjoying this, being on this ride from day one.
Jen, I said something last week. I want you to know, do you feel that way? I think people look at the schedule, and then when you don't look at the schedule, and when you don't look at the team, when you don't look at the quarterback that's going to be on that team on the opposition, you just look at the Lions, and you hear 13, and you're like, oh, God, no. You hear 12-5, you're like, oh, God, no. You hear 6 games in a row, you're like, what, the Lions? But when you look at the schedule, when you look at the quarterbacks they'll be playing against, when you look at the defenses that you're playing against, when you take away the offensive lines, the guys that are hurting those offensive lines, when you take the Lions out the equation, and you just look at the team, you're like, any good team that's the leader in the division should be this team, this team, this team. So the way I look at it is not from a getting kind of excited. I just look at it game by game, and I'm like,
strategically.
Strategery.
Yeah, it's like you look at that schedule from that point of view. Okay, Chargers on offense. Love Justin Herbert. It's not his problem. Defense sucks. Defense absolutely sucks. Denver Broncos, do I need to say more? Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, is he still their quarterback? Well, then I still don't trust them. So when I look at it from that point, I'm like, Lions, realistically, I don't see them losing more than 5 games.
I do think every season in every sport has the inevitable injury that you don't expect and also the fluke. So I build fluke and injury into my predictions. But with that said, I am enjoying the ride. And I tweeted this, I think it was on Sunday night or Monday, after the Green Bay game, Thursday night or Friday, that the joy that I feel watching fans on the road following their team when they win is
that is awesome.
Unmatched.
What we've seen.
Because for 22 straight games, what was their losing streak on the road?
24, I believe.
24?
Yeah.
I would get on the plane with my photographer, most times Jeff Holloway, who you know, and these fans would just be like defeated and just, it was all over their face, the pain of their team, and they wanted to believe, and they wanted to travel and come see and hope they would give them something to cheer for. And just in the cruelest of ways, we've all seen it. They'd lose. Man. And I felt so horrible for all the fans that we would see always on the road. And now, what these Lions fans have done on the road just blows my mind.
It's awesome.
And they all flock down to the bottom of the stadium at the end because the other team inevitably, their fans go because they've lost.
I believe the Lions.
It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. It's the blue wave, and it's
awesome.
It makes me so happy for everyone who loves this
team.
team.
Led by the crack man.
I think
led by the crack man. Well, he's never given up faith. I'll say that guy's faith is undying. He's
his garage is bigger than his house, with the lion on it, and his truck, and his F-150 all lined out. I never met a guy
Hall
like
of Fame, baby.
Hall of Famer.
And let me tell you, there's no general manager and his,
whatever Disner's title is.
Front office management that ever before this one would buy their number one super fan a drink in the bar or pick up their tab. I mean, that just speaks to the whole.
Amen.
And I think Sheila would have done it if she were there.
Unbelievable. Guys, back to wrap it up next. But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company. For over 60 years, Fairway Packing has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. All you got to do is visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods on Mack Avenue. Grab-and-go steaks, individually vacuum-sealed and ready for your grill. You can order online if you can't make it in person. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com.
Age, prime, cut, packed to perfection.
By now you know me, Christina Schnurry, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com. as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. Hey gang, what happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service that customers have come to know and trust, located in Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac. You can find the brand you want. All GM brands under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com. Find new roads. Back with Jennifer Hammond.
I hear that Les Stanford jingle playing in my head when you read that commercial.
Oh, yeah? Look at that. As Mike G says on the...
I love Mike G.
Mike G's great.
Yeah, Mike G is.
Mike G in the chat says, more Maz.
Okay.
Les Stanford.
Wait, Mike G says that?
Yeah, more Maz.
That's
Les Stanford.
That's his go-to
pretty good.
line.
That's pretty good.
I never knew that.
So
'Cause I don't ever watch.
Mike G did ask if I would high five Sheila Hamp if the Lions win the the division or even win the I don't even know. But Mike G, I will do it. And if they win the Super Bowl, we're gonna jump in the air and do the chest bump.
There it is.
Bam.
I can't do it to Martha because I would knock her over.
Oh my
She may not
God.
get up either.
But I will. Sheila will
Hey,
be.
Bray, run that question that you gave us on cap or no cap to Hammer about Dan Campbell.
Oh, about good old MCDC.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I want to get Hammer's
Thinking about it
view.
right now, when teams do well, when players do well, extensions are had. My question was, if Dan Campbell wins a playoff game, which we all believe he's going to win a playoff game, we believe he's going to leave the one at home, does he get an extension in the offseason?
So this is his 3rd year.
Yep.
Got 3 more.
He's got 3 more.
Mm-hmm.
6-year deal.
He signed a 6-year deal.
Oh yeah, they'll lock him up.
They'll pay
There
him
it
more.
is. So
Yeah,
it was
they'll
a
pay
good
him more.
question.
They'll pay him
I
more.
appreciate
So
that.
she's no cap.
I would. I mean, I would.
I would too.
I would.
Good job.
So
See?
Jen, that's no cap.
But I also think here's what's interesting.
She took it back.
I'm on the
Torn.
fence. Well, I'm not torn, but I do believe that Dan Campbell is not, because he's not a typical guy.
Right.
He's not going to be the kind of coach that's going to start flirting with other teams. I can't imagine Dan Campbell coaching anywhere else other than Detroit the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's going to become the Chuck Noll of the Motor City.
Bill
you talk
Parcells
about
a little bit.
that would
Bill
be awesome.
Parcells,
Right.
okay.
So you talk about
Well,
how
he bounced around, but
you talk about how the
Yeah,
regime.
he's gonna stay. He's not gonna be one of those guys that's gonna dick him around and try to get more money.
It won't be.
I don't see
I think
that.
that's a great call. I think it's a great call.
I don't see it.
I agree, but it won't be him. Like in the NFL, like when they know they got a coach, when they know they got a player, they come with the extension. It won't
Yes,
be
they
Dan
will.
Campbell.
But I
It
think
won't-
I feel like Sheila will say to him, and Dan Campbell will, MCDC will say, keep my I want to keep my crew together.
Okay.
He's a whole different kind of
Yeah.
guy.
This
I
is
just
true.
think
Get him some
and I
forward deals.
also think, and I think Monty Williams is starting to see this, and I think AJ Hinch has started to see this, and even Scott Harris to a certain extent, and Lalonde. Detroit is and I have goosebumps and I get emotional. It's such a different city. Plus, I'm on steroids, so I've been crying a lot lately. I cry and I want to punch people. I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
But
I call that Thursday.
I'm having a Thursday on a Wednesday. But
Whatever.
people who come to Detroit, and even I had this conversation with Jeff Petrie up at training camp in Traverse City. People don't understand the city of Detroit until you come here and you live here and you stay here. The soul of the city permeates from this downtown all the way out. I mean, all the way to
wherever,
Macomb and to Clarkston and to Lincoln Park and
downriver.
I said Lincoln Park. That's true. I got my downriver brethren in there.
Go ahead.
All around the Tri-County area. And these coaches, for Dan Campbell to come here and to really flip things, it's going to be amazing. Yeah. It's going to happen.
Hey, look,
and he's not going to want to leave.
No, he's not going to leave. He's here.
I think Jared Goff also loves him some Detroit.
Oh.
And the city of Detroit, I'm so glad for that guy too, the way the city. Think of how it was when he came here.
Oh. He had a bodyguard walking around Birmingham.
Did he really?
Yeah, he walked in here with a bodyguard.
He didn't know.
He didn't know.
Yeah.
All he saw was 8 Mile in a couple of those movies.
Right.
he heard it was so cold in the D.
Before you know it, him and Kristen Harper were walking through Birmingham roast every day.
And they love it, and they love them, and there's just this. And I'm maybe making it too Pollyanna and kumbaya.
I think you're
whatever,
right about it, though. People like it here.
It's a very different place, and it's a very different than what people think it is from the outside.
Without question.
Hey, speaking of liking it here, I always ask everybody this. I got you here. I'll ask you. Did they make a mistake getting rid of DeAndre Swift?
Oh, my God. This again?
Just ask him.
Jeez,
I don't think so. I mean, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
He was injured too much. I would have done that.
You had him on a rookie deal. You're not paying him anything.
I would have done that deal.
Okay.
Again.
I think we're all in agreement here. I think Maz is waiting for one person to agree with him, though.
I think I had one person.
He might have had one.
I think I might have had one or two people. I just think that to have depth is great, and we're pumping up the Lions now. We're all happy they're winning. I'm not being a downer here. I'm just saying there's a guy that had a lot of talent, playing on a rookie deal, playing for a new contract, and they got a 4th-round pick or 3rd-round pick in like 2028.
He was missing that G spot, that sweet spot, that grit.
He don't have it.
That they talk. Yeah, the it. You can't spell grit without an I and a T, and he didn't seem to me to have that.
Oh, he looks like he has it now.
Well, he didn't want
just because he had it there.
He didn't have it here.
Yeah.
And this team in this position and situation may not have been right for him.
The same thing. I'm asking too.
I just. Yeah, that was the last worry of mine when he went out the door. And even to see him do well, I'm happy for him. He was a really sweet guy, really nice guy.
Just didn't have it here.
I love, and once they let Jamal go too, I know a lot of people were upset about that. But as soon as I knew they were getting Demo, that's a great
upgrade.
That's a great upgrade. And they're going to get Gibbs worked in. Mm-hmm. They're going to get that worked out. In Ben, I trust. I mean, Ben Johnson.
Oh, God. You kidding me? In Hammer, we trust. Jen, we cannot thank you enough. You have a seat here anytime.
I'll get up anytime.
This was the fastest
you will.
hour
I
we've
love
done
that.
in a long time.
I love the light.
I'll even make it brighter for you if you want.
You good? You good,
I did start working now that I'm on the roids.
Yeah.
I started lifting some barbells 2 days ago.
You feel vigorous, don't you?
Yes, so I'm working on my arms. Those are my downfalls.
All right.
Same.
Working on my arms.
I'm working on all of it.
Hey, go enjoy the
I
rest of your
hope
day
Dan
off.
Miller was watching, and I hope you're feeling better, Miller. I'm so sorry.
Oh, he's
Sorry,
going to
Dan.
kill you. Guys,
he is going to kill me.
Hammer, you're the best. Tom Mazaway, my brother from another mother, Braylon Edwards, the great Braylon Edwards. Parker, JB, love you guys. We will see ya.
Hey, we got Chris Myers tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
He's doing the game.
I love that.
Love Chris Myers.
Yep.
He's
Love
doing our
you.
game on Fox. See you tomorrow.